Hello, I'm Chanel from Spirited Stardust, and today I am doing the 7 Decks for Deadly Sins tag, I think that's what it's called, by Sylvain's Deadly Sins. And we'll start off with Pride. So the original tag was a deck you purchase for flexing, but I don't do that. So instead, I'm going to say that for Pride for me, it's a deck that I like giving to others as a gift. I'm proud to give it as a gift. So this is the moonwitchoracle, and I remember the first time I showed it to somebody else. I'm like, wow, that's a gorgeous deck. It's amazing. And it's now become a staple gift whenever it's someone's birthday, and I think they might like a deck. This is the one I give them because it's pretty. What's unique is in it's not really something you just pick up at Target and Big W. It is an indie deck, so it's got a bit of that luxuriousness to it, a bit of specialness. It's not too confronting, but at the same time, it's intriguing. It's stunning. It's great quality, excellent quality. The messages are great. It's got a great breadth of topics that it goes through. And yeah, so for me, it's something I can give proudly and know that, I wasn't giving a crappy gift. But yeah, I remember my mum loved it so much that when she went to leave, she picked it up to take it with her, totally unconsciously. And I'm like, Mum, that's mine. She's like, oh my gosh. It's like, my heart wanted to take it home straight away. And I'm like, I know. So I got her one for a birthday. So, and it just feels lovely too. It's got a really nice feel. And like I said, great quality. And it's got the matte gilding, which is extra special. But that is my Pride deck. Next, we have Greed. I'll leave a link too for the velvet bags down below in case you fancy them. So for Greed, the thing is a deck you don't want to share with other people. I admit I do have one, and it's the True Black. It is this baby, my little baby. And that's because, it's upside down, the baby's upside down. It's for many reasons. One, it's pricey. So some of these indie decks, especially when you live in Australia, just on shipping alone, I can be spending, I might do it like this actually. Oh no. Up to $50 just on shipping. They all tend to start at around $30. Some go, up to 50, and that's just for the shipping. So these decks that tend to be priced over 100, and normally they're in foreign currency. So if it's in USD or pounds or euros, I'm going to get screwed on the exchange. So they're expensive. They're also, the fear with the indie decks is they may cease to print in the future. So they could become out of print. And the other thing is that this particular deck has a rose petal finish. Normally I'm not a fan of it, but this rose petal is delightful, and it doesn't stick. And I just feel like if everyone was touching it, not everyone, is going to wash their hands before touching my deck. And, yeah, I don't want it to get oily prints. Like already I can see that a few of my prints have made it on to the deck, but I try my best. So for this one, it just speaks to me. I love it. I love everything about it. The book's delightful. I say delightful, but this is a bit more of a hard-hitting deck. It's not a sunshine and cuddles deck. But yeah, I will not pull it out for other people to touch. I might read for them, but I don't want any other hands on this deck, because this is my precious, as Colin would say. And I'm trying to keep it as in good nick as I possibly can, so that I can use it for many years to come. Look at those lovers. That's the True Black Tarot. The next one up on the list was Wrath. So it's a deck you're angry at. And for me, it's always based on something normally to do with either the cardstock, but there's a few things with this one. So this one is called Messages from the Heart of the Divine Oracle deck, which lovely deck. Okay, so first for me, I don't really like the cardstock. It's that like cheap matte. Like this is a mass market deck, and it's that kind of matte that's just not pleasant to touch. Like it's supposed to be a satin, I would guess, because you can see it's got a sheen, but it doesn't feel like a satin. It's got that chalkiness. I don't know how to describe it to you. It's prone to bowing, as you can already see. It's got Roman numerals for the whole thing. So I can go 1 to 10 maybe, but when we get into this shenanigans, and I'm guessing that's 7, but my brain, sometimes it doesn't comply with me. So when it gets too numerical, like that, it makes it difficult for me to look up the meaning. And this is one that I do like to look up the meaning with, because I do love reading from the book. So for me, it's based on cardstock and Roman numerals and size. It's quite big. Like it's almost as big as my entire hand. So I have a hard time. Like I like to shuffle, and I can't do it that way. So I have to do that one, and I don't like shuffling that way. So for me, that's my Wrath deck, even though it's a gorgeous deck and I love it. I've just got some qualms with it. Next up, we have Envy, a deck that other people had, and that's Spacious Tarot. So I was seeing this everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And at first I'm like, oh, it's, I was very new to tarot, and I was like, there's no people in it. It doesn't look like the other tarot decks. Like I was a bit like concerned, and it's got different names. So Explorer of Wands, Child of Wands. And that was just so confusing to me at the time. And it was a little bit pippish, which I'm not a fan of. But there was something about it that I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And it was that I didn't have any cards that had that spaciousness, that had the same sort of vibe this one was emitting online, that nature, that, I guess, sacredness of nature, and that gentleness. At that time, I just didn't have anything like this. I just started collecting. It was also an indie deck, so I was like, oh, don't want to spend that cash. But I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like I actually started seeing the pictures in my head. And for me, as soon as I saw this card, which has a nice big piece of fluff on it, sorry. As soon as I saw this card, I was like, I have to get it. It struck envy in me. I was like, I need that. I need that in my life. I want to see that card and hold that card and feel the energy of that card. And so I was like, I bit the bullet. I think it was my first indie deck purchase, and then I got the indie deck bug after that. But I just had to have it. Even this one, like it just evokes such feelings, nostalgia and all that in me. That yeah, I was totally envious, and I had to make it my own. So that's the Spacious Tarot for Envy. Okay, next we have Lust. Good old Lust. So Lust for me, it's what deck did you get just based on the aesthetics? And for me, that was the Threads of Fate Lumen Edition, because baby, like what? Like, are you kidding me with this? Like, oh my God, just all yes. I love the color palette, the color story in this. I think it's stunning. I love the gilding. I love the actual, it's supposed to be, they say it's holographic, nature of it. It is unlike anything I'd ever seen at that point. I liked, obviously, the keywords down the bottom. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Isn't this just sublime? It is gorgeous. It's like a million sunsets in a deck, which is my favorite thing. It's something I still look at every day and I have lust for. I can't keep my gaze off that horizon. But this deck is just so ridiculously pretty. I knew straight away that it didn't even matter if it had no substance. It could have been dry as a bone in that respect, and I would not give two shits, because I just want, look, I like to surround myself with pretty things. I have a Libra moon, and I think that's why I have such a desire for beauty in my environment. And I knew that no matter what, I was going, oh my God, the colors, I was going to love this deck. And I do. There's like also a little bit of like sort of sacred geometry-ness to it, which I'm also a big fan of, just really appeals to me. And the way it feels, it's lovely. It's got the gold, matte gold on the sides, which I like, the matte gilded edges, not the shiny ones. But the foiling is stunning. Just and they've got so many varieties. So they do all sorts of different aesthetics, and they're all gorgeous. And even though I'm a sucker for black, I will admit, it's normally black is my first choice. When I saw this one, I'm like, no, I can't. I have to go with this like cosmic, gorgeous, luscious deliciousness. And yeah, that is the Lust at First Sight deck for me, the Threads of Fate Lumen edition. I'm a sucker for sure. And next we got Gluttony. Gluttony. And for me, for Gluttony, it's a radiant crystal deck. I don't know the exact name. I'll have to look it up. Why is this Gluttony? Because I have so many. So with these cards, I'll just show the back because you've got the front with the keywords and the stone, and then on the back, you've got a whole bunch of information. You know, affirmations, astrology signs, crystals, flowers. So this is Gluttony for me because I have so many crystal and plant and astrology decks. Did I need another one? No, I did not. Did I need one that was also super expensive? No, I did not. This is also a rose petal, but not the kind I like because it does stick together, so I cannot shuffle it. But this is also Gluttony because of like, look at all the associations and correspondences you get. You get the chakras and the vibrations, and it's just got so much information. So it's a bit gluttonous in how much it's giving you. And look at the just sumptuousness of the illustrations. Like, oh, yum, 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 yum. It's a yummy deck, and I didn't need it. And my partner's like, babe, maybe think. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to think. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to be gluttonous. I'm going to indulge because I'm going to be dead one day. So why not get the experience? Like I said, this is very gluttonous, so it does feel gorgeous, but it's just the shuffling sucks. And I choose my cards while I'm shuffling. So that's a bit of a suck. I do have to sit there and palm them one by one. But like I said, I'm glad that I purchased it. I really am. Even though, like I said, I have decks on all the topics this encompasses, it's still not this deck. You know, this deck has them all. I have nothing that's set up in this way. So I am super, super glad that I got it. Here we go. Radiant crystal cards. Yep. So that's the one it is. And that is my my Gluttony deck. Look at that. Comes edged in that lilac, which is super cool. Means I don't have to edge my deck, which I don't mind doing, but sometimes I don't feel like it. And then we got, last but not least, Sloth, which is probably out of all of the sins is the one I'm probably most greedy of, most guilty of, sorry. I'm also a bit gluttonous. I used to be quite gluttonous, but I've gotten a curb on that mindless eating and consuming. But yeah, sloth, sometimes, some days, I'm just like, nah, brah, I'm not going out of bed today. And I don't want to get up. And I'm a bit of a couch potato. I'm a cat in that respect. I like napping and sitting still. Sitting down. All of my hobbies, crocheting and reading and tarot, they all involve me just sitting down. So definitely I am guilty of sloth. And so the deck I've chosen is the Lucid Dreams Beginners deck by Saint Soleil because, bam, bitch, look, it's got all of the keywords on the card. It's got the astrological and planetary and elemental symbols on the side. The reversed is also down the bottom. So some days, like, I don't even need to go to the guidebook. I'd be like, oh, pull Queen of Swords. What's she about? Oh, independent, intelligent, honesty, fair. Oh, some criticism there. What about reverse? Oh, manipulative. Yeah. You know, what symbols has she got? Good Lord, I don't even know those ones. Okay, I know this is Gemini. Yeah, I have to get onto mine. That's Aquarius and that's the moon, and I've got to get the elementals down. I don't know which ones point up, which ones point down. But for someone who's just learning about tarot, this is great. So I wish I'd gotten it sooner, because all the other times in my other tarot decks, I had to keep going into the guidebook. And like, I don't know about you, but I love books. I love reading. But sometimes when I don't have a luxurious amount of time to spend, you know, I don't want to have to deal with it. I just want to get my reading done, fit it in, and get on with my day. And that's when now this deck comes into play. I can just go bam, 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 lay out my spread, see which keywords resonate, look at the picture, what am I feeling, what's the vibe. If I want to, I can tap into the, you know, astrological and elemental and planetary vibes and energies that go with those. So this is definitely my Sloth deck, but it's also just it's got that excessiveness about it too. Like, look how grand it is. So with, you know, the Sloth, it's a bit over the top, but I love it. It's helping me a lot, because I'm a visual learner. So for me, seeing words with the picture, even when I use other decks, I'll actually see this in my mind, so I can actually associate text with the image, and that's how I remember things. So I just have that photographic sort of thing going on, and I just go into my memory archives and I bring it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, Six of Cups, childhood, nostalgia, such a mentality. Like, oh, I used to get that card a lot, but I'm out of that stage now, thank God, out of that energy. All about this one. But this is definitely my Sloth deck. I just think it's a great beginner's tarot for learning. It's not only is it helpful with the keywords, like the guidebook is really good. It's got a lot of information on the numerology, like everything to do with the tarot. It feels great. It looks beautiful. This, I think they also have a different color scheme, so if you're not into this beige gold thing. But yeah, that is the Beginner Tarot deck by Saint Soleil, Lucid Dreams. And those are all my 7 Deadly Sins deck. I guess I'll put them back out. So we've got, you know, we've got Sloth. Put you there, Sloth. And we've got, here we go, this one here for greed. And what's next? Greed. And then we've got Lust. So we've got my pretty girl over here. And then we've got the Spacious Tarot. I'm going to move you out of the way, aesthetic thing. And then we've got this lady down here. Oh, I'm going to move you out of the way, Candle. Don't need your light no more. We got this one, and oh, so those all vibe together. But then you got my black beauties popping in over here. So, oh, if I put them this way, they vibe, but I'm not gonna. And we've got the Moon Witch, and last but not least, we've got my lovely True Black. So those are my 7 decks for Deadly Sins, and as always, stay wild, Star Child.